Hello everyone, welcome to the OR Action Research video. Today we are going to share our finding from the OR individual research project. My name is Lisa Lochamin and I will be moderating this discussion. Let me introduce my college.
Hello, I'm Michelle.
My name is Frank Ortega. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hi, I am Santiago.
And my name is Wilson.
Well, let's start by the share our topic objective on the intervention, then we'll discussion on the finding and the evidence. I will go the first. My research topic was about the effect of the group work activities and the speaking participation inside B1 students. My objective was to improve the students' oral participation and confidence through the communicative and the interactive speaking activities. To achieve this, implemented three activities. Will they add the story together, stop the difference, and the something I love using vocabulary audio recording.
That's interesting, Lisa. My topic was different. I work with sixth grade students in the basic general education. In my objective was to improve their listening comprehension skills. In my intervention, include vocabulary-based activities like flashcards, emails, in the repetition exercise and listening comprehension tasks.
I also use vocabulary activities, but in my case, my objective was to determine how game-based learning influences English vocabulary in a 9-year-old student. My intervention was a 6-session playful intervention based on reflective journals. I use total physical response and kinesthetic and mapping games, Kahoot, and role play activities like a mini market simulation.
Guys, that's very different from mine. My objective was to evaluate the impact of a mobile assisted language learning intervention into improving the syntactic and phonological accuracy in a beginner A1 students. My intervention was called the virtual app to breakout bridge strategy. The students practice daily on Duolingo for 15 minutes and they use what they learn in Zoom in the breakout rooms.
And my research topic was about improving English speaking fluency in university students using chatbots. My objective was to analyze how practicing with ChatGPT could support speaking development. My intervention consisted of 5 role-play conversations over 1 week, with about 10 minutes of practice each day. The topics included booking a hotel room, planning a vacation, shopping for clothes, asking for directions, and ordering food in a restaurant.
Let me share my finding. The most important thing I found was that the communicative speaking activities is significantly increasing the students' confidence and the participation, while reducing their anxiety, for example, after the intervention. It is 90.7% of the students participate more activity, the 71.4% responded feeling more confidence and they say they speak in English. My evidence comes from the observation checklist, video recording, audio recording, and pre and the post surveys and the finding notes.
Wow, those are great numbers, Lisa. In my case, my finding was similar in terms of improvement, and my students improved their listening comprehension after the intervention. They show with greater vocabulary recognition, and identify keywords more accurately, and responding to compression and activities more confidently. In my evidence include the pre-test and post-test results and observation checklists, photographies and surveys where 80% of students enjoyed activities and 73.3% more confidence when listening to English.
I can participate in. That's interesting. It's interesting, Santiago. I also use the pre-test and post-test, but my findings were more divided into three dimensions. In first, I found that tangible and simulated interaction is key to transforming passive vocabulary into active vocabulary. In second, digital gamification acts as an immediate memory accelerator and, and significantly reduce the student's affective filter. In third, despite the success of games, phonetic barriers remain especially with sounds that don't exist in Spanish, like SH and TH. My evidence include reflective journals, physical evidence like the paper doll, and mini market activities, Kahoot, and emotional self assessment reports based on emojis.
Interesting points about the affective filter, Michelle. In my case, the main finding was that the participant had a positive experience using chatbots. And he reported that the activities were enjoyable, motivating, and useful for practicing English. And however, I didn't see a significant improvement in speaking fluency because the intervention only lasted 5 days. My evidence included audio recordings, a speaking rubric, a survey, and an interview. The rubric showed a slight increase from 17 to 19 points, mainly in fluency and confidence.
No, Wilson, I can't relate to that. And well, my findings still show that disconnect. The main findings in emotional autonomy, uh, the main findings in my research was there is a critical disconnect between the technical proficiency and the emotional autonomy. While the vocabulary practice acts as an effective catalyst of a grammatical structure, it's not enough for developing the error self-reflection or eliminating the communicative anxiety in real interactive settings. My evidence was quite revealing. Quantitatively, 100% of my students achieve active participation and acceptable grammatical structures, and the 100% positively rated at usability. However, only 20% demonstrated real-time self-correction, and the 33.3% reported the persistent anxiety when they're speaking in front of the peers.
That's very interesting, Frank. I also found that anxiety was a big factor. In my case, the student mentioned that the working with the family, a classmate in a not great environment helping them feel more comfortable. It seemed like peer support was the key.
That makes sense. In my intervention, students also worked together, but I didn't focus so much on pure iteration, and I focus more on individual vocabulary recognition through flashcards and image. Um, do you think that made a difference?
I think both approach are valid. Mm, In my case, I use both individual and interactive activities, but what worked best for my student was the kinesthetic, yes, kinesthetic, and role play activities. When she used, because is if use real objects in the mini market, she produced vocabulary much more fluently. I think that tangible interactions helps bridge the gap between knowing and a word and using it.
That's a good point, Shel. In my chatbot intervention, the student also had a more interactive experience, but it was with AI, not with real people. And I think that's why confidence improved, but fluency didn't. And maybe if I had combined chatbot practice with human interaction, the results would have been different.
Exactly, Wilson. That's what I found too. I've been this that confidence is fragile when you move to the real conversation environment. My students perform well on the app, but when they have to speak in breakout rooms, they spill they still felt so anxious. I think we need to include explicit phonetic awareness strategies, speech recognition tools, and social emotional supports to truly improve the oral production. That's more important.
I agree with Frank. In my case, the not great environment and the peer support were the social and emotional factors that made a difference. Maybe that's why my students felt more confident and they participate more.
In my case, I think the visual support from flashcards and image um, help you reduce anxiety through when students can see the vocabulary, they feel more prepared to listen and respond.
So let's talk about how our findings relate to the art objectives. In my case, my results show that the interventions successful achieved my research objective because more confident and they participate more activity in the speaking activities.
Oh, similarly, in my result show that vocabulary-based activities contribute to achieving in my objective. They strengthen listening comprehension, increase the students in the participation, and improve the confidence when listening to English.
Mm, In my case, the evidence shows the game-based learning not only increases long-term lexical retention, but also transforms a traditional monotonous and process into autonomous, active, low anxiety in productions. So yes, it achieved on my objective.
For me, the objective was partially achieved. Although the intervention didn't produce significant improvements in fluency in such a short time, it did increase motivation and confidence, and suggesting that chatbot-based practice has potentially implemented over a longer period.
Similar. My results show that the objective was partially fulfilled. The mobile devices secure basic syntactic accuracy and intelligibility. But to achieve a comprehensive improvement, we need to go beyond app training and include the more strategies for a self-reflection. The best important in this case is the emotional support.
Well, to conclude, I think we all agree that our intervention had positive impact on our students in different way, uh, whether through group work, vocabulary activities, games, chatbots, or apps. We say improving in the confident participation or the skill However, we also identify changes like anxiety and short intervention periods that limited results.
Yes, Lise, and I did we are learning that there is no single perfect method. It depends on the contents and the students and the objectives.
Yes, it's exactly. The the key is to adapt our strategies to our students' needs.
And remember to keep the reflecting on our practice to improve continuously.
Thank you all for sharing your findings.
Thank you for your watching. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.